Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for another ATC swap over on the Indigoblu Facebook group, the ILoveIndigoblu Facebook group. So the theme this month is abstract. Yeah, so there's a lot to go at with abstract. Now, obviously, with it being an Indigoblu themed swap, you have to kind of use as many Indigoblu products as you can in the production of your ATCs. So I've got some of the Indigoblu Eco Vivid inks. I've got Acid Green, Will Scarlet, which is a red colour, and Tasty Turquoise. I'm also going to be using some of my stamps from Indigoblu, which happen to be Abstract Marks 1 and Abstract Marks 2. But ink-wise, ink pad-wise, I'm going to be using Avocado, which goes with the Acid Green, the Strawberry, which goes with the Will Scarlet, obviously, and then the Warm Breeze, which goes with the Tasty Turquoise. So I'm kind of going to be using the two colours on each one. So these are going to be colour-themed, and they're going to be colour-themed RGB, so red, green and blue. So that's going to be my theme for my abstract ATCs. Now, I've already cut some mixed media cardstock for the bases of the ATCs, but I'm not going to work on those. They're just going to be used for layering and framing. I've got some cream cardstock, which I'm going to use as the main piece. And when they're done, that will get stuck onto the white background to create that little bit of a frame. Now, I could change my mind and switch to black, which may work better, but I haven't decided. I'll wait until these have been completed before I make that decision whether I'm going to switch this to black cardstock. Depends which one makes this pop more from the background. So that's what I've got there. I've got some VersaFine Clair. These are all VersaFine Clair inks. I've got the Nocturne, which is also the black, for when I do some stamping, because I'm going to be doing some background stamping with this one in these colours once I've put the vivid ink down, and then the final is going to be having some of these stamped over it, and then we'll see where we go from there. So let's just put this to one side for now, put those to one side. I'm going to be working on one colour at a time. So I'm going to start off, let's start off with the red. So we've got Will Scarlet. So, and because this is abstract, it's not going to be controlled in the slightest. It's just going to be slapdash and see what happens. Almost abstract expressionism is what I'm gonna kind of aim for today, not anything in particular. We're not doing Pollock and we're not doing Rothko, and we're certainly not doing Picasso. So see, that now looks like blurred, which is fine, because with this sort of stuff you read into it whatever you like. That's the background for that one. So let me get that cleared up, and I need to make sure that there's nothing that's going to contaminate. All right, so because these are vivid inks, it also means that they're going to be reactive once dry, sorry. So I'm just going to do a bit of ghosting now. So I'm just going to flick some water down onto that background just to kind of break it up a little bit. I think the paper's probably going to soak the water in quicker than I can dry it back off again. So let's just quickly run that over the top. We have got some ghosting. As you can see, there's some ghosting that's happened in the background there. So again, let's get it dried off. All right, let's take a look at that. Now, is that going to be the top or is that going to be the top? I think that's going to be the top. So let me get the VersaFine Claire Strawberry and a little stamping block. And I think for this one we'll use the half tone. Now I'm hoping there's going to be sufficient difference in the colours. If not, then we'll have to work with something else. Yeah, you can definitely see the difference in the colour in the background. Okay, I like that. I can clean off the stamp. Not going to use the same stamp on each one, we'll use a different one on each one, because obviously they have to be themed, similar, but not quite the same. So we can see the dots in that background, which is just lovely. Haha. Right, so I'm going to repeat that process for the green and the blue. So what I might do, just so that it's not a boring, repetitive process for you guys watching, is I might either speed through or just jump cut to the end. Alrighty then, so all three have now been done. Backgrounds, they've all been ghosted. I've already cut some black just so we can determine whether or not that's going to be better than the white. So, right, so I've taken one of the stamps from the Abstract Marks 1 set, which is this one here, which I love. And then we're going to use that to go over the top of each of the ATCs. God, I'm forgetting my worms today. Right, so I'm going to do that one right down the middle. Just give it a bit of CPR. There we go. Like that. And then the next one, we'll flip it round and do that one there. Like it. So I just need to clean off that little bit of ink that I've missed. Excuse me. And then this one will just go right down the middle. Right down the middle. Excellent. All right, so we've now got the black and the white background. So I think that the black stands out more than the white. I think the white, it just kind of disappears. I think the black creates more of a frame. Because you've got that black central column of the abstract marks, I think it ties in more. So we're going to go with the black. That's my thoughts anyway. My gut instinct tells me to go with the black. So what I also want to do then is I want to introduce some other little colour flashes inside there. So because these are RGB, I want to include 2 colours that aren't in each of them. So on the green, I want to include the red and the blue. On the red, I want to include the green and the blue. And on the blue, I want to include the green and the red. And the easiest way, the simplest way to do that is just to create some small pops of colour with a little hole punch. So let me find my mini hole punch and I'll be right back. Right, I've got my hole punch and I've also got my Colorscapes paper pad. That's also obviously in conjunction with Indigo Blue too. So we'll be pulling out some of the sheets from there in a little while just to get some of those little coloured dots from. But before we do anything, I want to glue these pieces down. So I just want to flip them over and then just give them a little bit of glue. And I don't mind if they wrinkle up a little bit. And then so we've just about got them. Pretty much. There we go. Like I said, I don't mind if they wrinkle up a little bit. I will flatten them down later on. I'll put them under a heavy book. There we go. That's that and that. So I've done it so there's about a 2mm border, about 1/8 of an inch, all the way around. I think I like it that way up. There we go, there was that little bit of wiggle room there. Alright, so let's just put those to one side. I'm going to put them underneath a heavy book for now. Alright, and let's choose some of the papers. So we need red, green and blue. So they're all oranges. That'll be just my luck to not have any. Ah, there we go, we've got some reds there, look, perfect. So let's go in, but it doesn't matter if they're not perfect. We don't mind a little bit of variation in the colour. There we go, so there's 2 red. So now let's have a look for blue. So I've got a small sheet of blue here. So again, we'll come in with some of that detail. Blue and blue. So 2 of those. And then we need to find a green one. Alright, so I think there's not many pages left in this book. Ah, green. Let's just flip that around. Green and green. Lovely. All right. Now they've been stuck down or underneath there for a little while, so let's get a red and a blue. Just one little dob. So we'll go red. It really doesn't actually, you could probably put the glue on the paper background and then just squish it into place. That way it's probably going to be better. So then we get the blue, so we want green and red then. So I think I'm going to put one there and one here. Green. And red. Oops. Flatten down your monkey. And then number 3, I think I want to go one there, and I'm going to put the other one here. So let's put the blue down at the bottom. And the green up here. Yeah, there's a little bit of glue that's seeped out from there. Almost looking like circuits. Like it. All right, so I'm going to let that dry for a second or two, and then I'll be right back. All right, so they've had a chance to kind of dry and flatten now. So what I wanted to do, just to add a little word to each one. So I've gone through my Tim Holtz small chat stickers, and I've pulled out 3 of the smallest ones I can find. Now these are supposed to be sticky, but I've had them that long that most of the sticky has now gone off the back. So I'm going to have to just add a little bit of glue onto each one. And it's just going to be the tiniest fraction of glue. So for the red, I've got the word create. And then for the green, we've got the word inspire. And I'm going to place the word fairly towards the bottom on each one. Just kind of breaking in. And then the last one, we've got the word discover. These are very fiddly. I have got some of those little tweezers somewhere, but goodness knows where they are. And the good thing about it, if you get a squidge of the glue that comes out, it does just wipe away, with it being the spirit glue. So create, inspire, discover. So what I've also done is I've printed off some little ATC backs for each one. Now, is that focused on there? Is that about as good as it's going to get? No, I'm a bit too far down, aren't I? Let's just see if I can do this properly. Focus on it properly. There we go. Probably still can't read that anyway. So I've done these ATC backs, and I'm going to do them in, these are little stickers that I've already printed out. They're on sticker paper. So I'm going to put them in that order of RGB as well. So I'm going to have to wrestle with trying to get the back off the sticker, because it invariably, it never comes off straight away. but it does help if you've got fingernails. There we go. That's just coming off there. And then I can go down on the back. Number 1. Number 2. And number 3. So there it is. There are my 3 abstract artist trading cards for my swap for the Indigoblu Facebook, I Love Indigoblu Facebook group. And my swap partner this month is Kath from Wales. So I hope Kath is going to enjoy these cards. So that's all from me for now for today. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.